In Kingston, on the illustrious campus of Kingston College, prestige drips off students, faculty and architecture. Amid social turmoil, three intertwining tales of disillusioned misfits collide under the machinations of an all-seeing institution. Kingston is directed by Badiru and Carlos Key, and this film is their directorial debut, and Kingston just debuted at the 2026 Tribeca Film Festival. Kingston is a very impressive directorial debut from directors Badiru and Carlos Key. This is one of the reasons why I love watching films from film festivals, like new discoveries, and this film was not really on my radar, and it ends up being easily one of the best films of this year's Tribeca Film Festival. This film is extremely well written, and sometimes you have to like catch your breath just because of all of the dialogue and the speeches, and I think probably what impressed me the most about this film, Kingston, is even though it's very funny, it's extremely well written, and in the final half an hour of the film, it manages to surpass that and get us attached to these characters, and they all the characters in this film manage to have an emotional and conclusion to the characters in this film. And I'll just quickly go through all of the main characters in this film. There's Atlas Williams, played by Rose Badiru, and she has a scholarship at this college, and she is from a low income, and she's from an African American family, and she worked very, very hard to get into this college, and she has, like, I think before she went to the college, it's her dream to go to this college, and before she went to this college, she has an image of what it was going to be like, and when she gets to the college, she has a lot of difficulty fitting in. She doesn't make any friends. She gets into arguments in class. She just isn't able to connect with any of her classes and with any of the fellow students. And then there's Amber and Marco, played by Leann Gardner and Nick Snipes, and they both at the beginning of the film, they're in a bit of a casual relationship, and you can see they have a lot of chemistry. They really like each other, but they don't know really how to communicate with each other, and they both want a serious relationship, but they don't know how to talk about it with each other. So they end up spending a lot of the film exploring relationships with other people, and talking, and just being influenced by their friends, and this part of the film, because in this film isn't just like a comment on the Kingston College, it's also a very adapted comment on current dating with younger people, like the apps, and just being unable to communicate how you feel and what you want in a relationship. So the relationship between Marco and Amber in this film is very well realized, and just the way that Marco and Amber end up dating other people throughout the film, and just they always have that feeling of coming back to this original partner. And this film does a great job of showing us, okay, they are able to find themselves in other relationships, and then they come back full circle at the end of the film in a nice emotional conclusion. And also, one of the directors of this film, Carlos Key, he plays Cyrus, who is the son of a CEO of a very wealthy company, and he's been at this college, I think he's his third year, and he keeps failing his classes, and he has some emotional baggage, and he's just not able to live up to the weight of what his father is expecting from him, and he is being privately tutored by a Chinese teacher, Professor Liu, played by Michael C. Liu, and they have a bit of back and forth in this film, and the teacher is having a struggle teaching him how to speak and listen to Mandarin. So, and as the film goes on, when you first meet Cyrus, you think he's a bit stupid and not all there. But then as the film goes on, you can hear his character comes out more, and he ends up being one of the most surprising characters of the film. And all of these characters end up intersecting in a very natural way as the film goes on. They don't really interact with each other except for like an argument between Cyrus and Atlas, but other than that, they naturally appear in some of the other scenes, and it just feels like they're all part of the same college, and they all intersect naturally throughout this film. The film does a great job of balancing. Yes, it has its very biting satire. It's very funny. The dialogue is on point in this film, but it also manages to do that and also depict, like, I've never been to this college. I've never been to Ivy League college, but this film does a great job of showing us what it's like, the type of students who go to this college, and what it's like to be a student at this college. So it manages to do a great job of balancing the comedy, the dramatic elements, and also giving us an idea of what it's like to be a student at this college without making fun of the college. It still does a great job of showing that this college is a great college to go to. It's a prestigious college. It cares about its students. It cares about its learning, but it also does a great job of making fun of this college and the students and the type of people who are enrolled there. So it just really nails that balance between comedy, drama, and just biting satire very, very well. But it's mainly through the character of Atlas, where she has trouble fitting in, and she has the most complex and interesting character arc throughout the film because she throughout, she's kind of like a vessel throughout the film of difference between her and other students at this college, where she has earned her right to be at this college, but other students at the college, maybe they're very wealthy, and you can see when she has speeches, and when she's like, she spends like half the film just sitting back in the class and just listening to other students and like with a perplexed look on her face, like, how did you get into this college? And she's just you get, when you hear these other students talk, they are talking like they are trying to impress other students, or just trying to sound smart and trying to just fit in. And Atlas throughout this film is just so bewildered by just the whole like reality of this college and the other students, and just her not being able to fit in. For us is a way to see what type of students who are at this college and the environment. I really had to give a shout out to all the performances in this film, because pretty much all of them are first time actors in a feature film, and they all bring the A game to this film. Rose Badiru, Leann Gardner, Nick Snipes, Marcus Liu, Carlos Key, and there's a whole bunch of supporting performances in this film. They're all fantastic in this film. And I don't usually do this, but the script by directors Carlos Key, Carly Giroux, and co-writers Claire Levasque and Jenna Sheng. Jenna Sheng is fantastic in this film. It just every scene is extremely well written, and there's so many like speeches in this film from the characters who are expressing how they're feeling. The script, it's just one of the best written films of the year. I give Kingston 4 stars out of 5. I highly recommend checking out this hidden gem from the Tribeca Film Festival. Kingston, it's extremely well written, extremely well acted from the amateur cast, mostly in the feature film debuts. It does a great job of balancing the biting satire, the dramatic elements, and also the comedic elements of the film, and also does a great job of showing us as a viewer what it's really like to be a student at this college. So I really can't recommend this film, Kingston, enough. It's a very, very entertaining, very funny, and very moving film. Thanks for watching. What do you think of Kingston? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.